Welcome back to our Money Coaching Show, brought to you by Happiest Future Group. I'm your host, Will, and every Monday we'll spend just 10 minutes together, short, sharp, and straight to the point. We work as money coaches and provide financial education to help you take control of your money, your habits, and your future, because that's all we want for our clients. And now you is to have the happiest future. We also do personal and relationship mentoring that we discuss on a Thursday with our mentoring show. We work in both spaces because we found they connect more than people realize. If you'd like to learn more about us, go to our website, happiestfuturegroup.au. You can send us an email or book a discovery call via the link on our homepage, because we'd love to hear from you. Please remember to hit that like, follow, or subscribe button, depending on where you're tuning in from. It all really helps us grow and keep bringing you value each week. Today, I'm just going to talk about building a budget that actually works in real life. So let's get on with it. Now, you don't need a complicated budgeting system.
What?
You just need something so simple you can actually stick to it, even on the days when life is messy, busy, or completely unpredictable. A budget works because it removes all the extra thinking for you. You don't need 20 categories, color-coded spreadsheets, or an app that sends you 5 reminders a day. All those things are great, but you don't need them from the first day of deciding to budget properly. You just need clarity on 3 things: what comes in, what must go out, and what's left over. Start with the real monthly income that actually lands in your account, not the ideal number, not what your contract says, but the amount that shows up. That can also change if you get paid monthly versus fortnightly. You might have 2 fortnightly pays this month, but 3 in another, so you need to be aware. Next, list your non-negotiable expenses, including any annual ones. For now, just divide it by 12 to get a monthly figure required to be set aside. We aren't going to include any bad consumer debt in this though, just for now. We'll get to that in a minute. For this first step of our essential expenses, just count up the following: your mortgage or rent, your utilities, including rates or any body corporates that you might have, your food, groceries for the week, etc., fuel and car essentials, so insurance, regos, services, any other insurances, home, contents, home and contents, any kids essentials such as school fees, uniforms, any supplies, and your phone bills, your internet. Your internet can be a debatable one, but we leave it in there because it is obviously quite essential that we have internet. Another one often up for debate is pet essentials.
Hey! Don't you ever say that again.
I count them personally. I have 2 dogs who get everything they need within reason, but they get proper food, flea treatments, all of that. So count that if you have pets too. Just don't get carried away with it. You may also have some other essential expenses that weren't on that list above, but add them to the list. Those are the ones that we use with our clients just to get a starting point here. Now we add all of what we just listed together to get your minimum expenses. You should know that number the same way you know your phone number.
All right, what's the number?
It's 1718-1168-011.
Look, I have way too many numbers, okay?
Because that amount is, in the worst case scenario, the amount you need to earn to survive for a month. Once you have those 2 pieces of information, your monthly income and minimum expenses, everything often becomes simpler. Next, we need to list out our other expenses we have, including all of our debts. So whatever else you have coming out of your bank account, list it out, including your month's spending money. Do you have birthday presents to buy this month? Have you planned for a date night out together? Figure out those costs and just put it on the list for now. There is no point in putting that money into anything else like your savings if you have to take it out later on. There is one time where that is okay, and that is with an offset account. And when you're in a position to be able to do those type of things, like have a 7-day float, we can discuss it. But
he touched the butt.
In the context of this scenario, we're keeping it simple. So if you've got known expenses for this month, put it on the list. Now, after you've done all of that, you will usually have additional funds left over. If you don't, that's okay. It will come. But this is the part where most people, funnily enough, get overwhelmed. It just doesn't need to be complicated. Instead of slicing it into endless little categories, think about what the next step we are trying to achieve is. We have 6 steps we take clients through. Everything we just discussed is part of working through step 1, budget for freedom. Next is step 2, partner with our best, but we will skip this one for now and explain it another time to keep this very simple. Step 3, though, is break up with bad debt. which means we need to look at our bad consumer debt and what the smallest amount we have is so we can attack that first. For example, do we have any small overdue bills or any small afterpay or buy now, pay later bills, etc.? We can wipe off the monthly expenses straight away. After that, do we have credit cards that we can't manage and we should clear? Or do we have any personal loans or car loans chewing up our monthly cash flow? Whatever we have, list it out smallest to largest, and let's work down the list following the snowball method. It's far and away the best method to follow. But we have had clients come to us and say they prefer the avalanche method, which is fine. To be honest, we don't care. Which method you use, whichever one makes you follow through with this, is the one we prefer. That is the first focus of going through your budget and understanding your money, ins and outs. But before we go beyond step one, there is just one quick educational step we walk clients through first, especially in the first month before we start putting extra money into any other step that we're up to, after we've tightened our budget and have likely saved a little more in our budget by following step 2 as well. That is to track everything else we spend that we often don't think about or you didn't put on your budget for this month. This tracking isn't about making your life hard. It's just about shining a light on patterns so you can make smarter decisions.
But what does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
And hopefully help yourself free up even more additional funds every month to do things like pay off our bad consumer debt or create what we call as an oh shit fund, commonly known as an emergency fund. Now, start small, note every transaction, even the once-off coffees or impulse snacks. Chances are you didn't count for it in any of what we did above. Yes, we can go over the past few months of whatever your bank account says, but that will only tell part of the story if you've decided now you're going to focus more on how you spend your money. Over time, these small amounts, naturally, they add up, and seeing them clearly shows you where you can cut back or adjust. Funnily enough, when clients have had to write it down as an expense on the spot before they do it, they end up deciding it isn't even worth it. You don't need a complicated app or spreadsheet to do any of this. A simple note in your phone or a quick notebook, whatever works for you, is fine. The key here is just consistency. Every day, write it down right there on the spot, or if you have to, write it down when you get home, spend 10 minutes going through whatever you've spent for the day through your bank account and noting it down, because chances are the next day will be very different for you. Once you have a week or two of data, review it. Before we get to the end of the first month, just look for trends. Are there recurring expenses you forgot about, or are you spending more on convenience than you realized?
I have done nothing wrong, ever, in my life.
This isn't about making you feel guilty. It's just about seeing it for yourself, because tracking also helps create accountability. When you see exactly where your money goes, decisions become easier. You'll naturally start redirecting funds from low value spending to things that actually matter, like paying off debt faster, boosting your savings, or funding experiences that make life enjoyable. And of course, tracking allows you to adjust your plan or yourself in real time, right then, right there. You can then just tweak your next week or rest of the month without stress, instead of wondering why your budget doesn't work after 2 weeks and just giving up. We don't want you doing this forever either. So once you understand how to see the money you're spending every time you tap your card or phone, you can stop. Now, of course, we understand some of you, like our clients have before, are sitting there saying, yeah, well, tracking and planning are all well and good, but how do I budget when I'm having one of the worst weeks of my life?
Congratulations. You are being rescued. Please do not resist.
It's a fair question. We totally understand there are those times when life throws you curveball after curveball and nothing goes according to plan. So yes, a budget isn't successful if it only works when everything is perfect. It has to work when the unexpected shows up, a car repair, a last minute gift, or a week of extra childcare, whatever it might be. The key is building some flexibility into your plan or into your budget. When you know your essentials, you have set aside known expenses and are tracking your discretionary spending, you can start to anticipate or definitely deal with the unexpected without panic. Now, emergency funds help with managing all of this, but if we aren't up to that, we can still do a few things first, like think in ranges rather than exact numbers. For example, if groceries usually cost 250 per week, don't assume every week will be exactly 250. Give yourself a small buffer. So a week at 225 or even 200 is perhaps more common, but then it doesn't derail your entire plan if you know there are weeks where you might spend 275 or even 300. Another way to survive a tough week is just by prioritizing. Your minimum expenses are a non-negotiable. Mortgage, utilities, everything we listed out. That's why we listed it. Everything else gets ranked by impact. And if you have to cut back anything, then your fund spending and discretionary purchases are the first to adjust. Or just completely go.
You serious?
Not your progress on any other step that we're up to, like debt repayments or saving for an emergency fund. This keeps your long-term goals intact. Even when the week is rough, consistency matters more than perfection. Even if you overspend or miss a day of tracking, you can recover quickly because you know your minimum expenses. Over time, sticking to a budget becomes less about rigid rules and more about having a reliable framework to guide all of your decisions. A budget that can survive your worst week is one that's simple, flexible, and focused on decisions that matter. The easier it is to follow under pressure, the more likely it is to become a habit, and habits are how we actually change your financial life. Look, that's all we have for today. We hope it helps you in one way or another and you were able to take even just one small thing from this episode. Just remember, the happiest future isn't some distant dream. It starts with the steps you take today. Before we officially sign off, just a quick reminder, any and all content produced by Happiest Future Group is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute personal, financial, or life advice. All information provided is general in nature and does not take into account your personal circumstances. Before making any decisions or taking action, you should consider whether the information is appropriate for you. We're here to share what's worked for us and our clients and hopefully give you some tools and ideas to try yourself. But nothing here replaces your own judgment or professional advice for your situation. Finally, if you've enjoyed today's episode and would like to learn more about us, go to our website, happiestfuturegroup.au. You can send us an email or book a discovery call via the link on our homepage because we'd love to hear from you. Please remember to hit that like, follow, or subscribe button, depending on where you're tuning in from. It all really helps us grow and keep bringing you value each week. Thanks for tuning in today. See you next time.